And in this open area right next to this enclosure, we're going to build a 10-foot long, 6-foot high, 4-foot in depth enclosure for my Quince Monitor Walter. All right, we're out here by my outdoor Quince Monitor enclosure. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of projects going on at the same time. But today the game plan is I want to pull this enclosure out this way, so I have to move this table and these chairs and stuff. But I want to pull this enclosure out and then put it flat on its back so the Universal Rocks background is parallel with the ground. And then I want to put the screen on the bottom and the top of the enclosure. So that's what we're going to start with. We got the enclosure on its back. Now we're going to start attaching the screen to the bottom. The monitor can't get out because it's concrete below it, but I'm just paranoid. And then we'll start attaching the screen to the top side. And then once we flip it over, back on right side up, all we have to do is attach the rest of the screen, which will be the easiest part. So I'm going to get started. Okay, so I got the 10-foot long 2x4, and we're just gonna use some braces and then put it in the center of this because I need it to kind of be in the center because the screen is 4 foot and this is a little longer than 4 foot, so I'm just gonna have to snip off the screen. But let's get started on that. All right, so we got the little crossbar on the bottom. I didn't care that it's not perfect because the only purpose of this is just so I could staple in the screen, and it's just gonna be laying flat on the screen, but I need to be able to staple here and there. And there's a little space there, but I don't care because once again, it's the bottom of the enclosure. So let's start getting the screen connected to the bottom and then get the top done. And for the mesh galvanized chicken wire, I'm going to be using these snippets, and this is probably the most tedious part of building any outdoor enclosure because you have to go to every single individual little square and snip, 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 snip. So let's get started on that. For the bottom of the enclosure, I'm just going to use the staple gun and the galvanized chicken wire, and then I'll probably use these poultry nails when I do the front and sides, because the bottom part is going to be secure because it's going to be pressed against concrete. All right, we got the first half of the bottom layer stapled on. I like to leave a little extra slack on the bottom layers, but the top and the front and the sides and back will all be super tight with no flex, but I want the bottom to have a little flex. So now I have to go across this beam and snip every single one. You guys can see how tedious this is. I don't really mind doing this though. It's kind of mindless and it has to be done, so there's no point of complaining about it, because once everything's complete, it's gonna be awesome. All right, so the bottom half is all cut up. Now I just have to move it down literally like an inch and then go around and staple that whole thing to the bottom. And then after that, the bottom part's completely done. Then I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do the top, whether I wanna go cram myself back there or just move the enclosure, which is what I'll probably do. And definitely wanna weed whack that stuff and get rid of it before I stand the enclosure back up. All right guys, the bottom part of the screen is done. I decided I'm just going to bring everything back there. I gave myself a little more room. I'm just gonna bring the screen down there instead of dragging this thing. It's heavier than it looks. I'm gonna take these little pieces of this ripped up gym mat and I'm gonna place it on the bottom side of the enclosure, just maybe like 6 of them. So that way, when it's standing upright, there'll be a tiny little gap, so water won't pool in the corner, and it'll keep the integrity of the wood. Okay, we're over here on the top side, and this side's more important than the bottom because this side is going to be exposed to the elements. My monitor can potentially kind of climb up and try to get out of this, so we're going to staple it in real good, and then we're going to sandwich it with kind of a little bit of trim so it has double integrity. And unlike the bottom side, we're actually going to try to make this as tight to the wood as possible. I don't want any little bubbles or any give. I want it to be flat and flush. All right, we got the top and bottom on. Top and bottom screen on the top part of the enclosure. So now, yeah, I got a little cut. So now I'm gonna try to add the trim to sandwich the mesh and the staples in between two pieces of wood. Like I said, it's double integrity. And I think I didn't get it enough. So I'm gonna do the outside borders of the top, and then tomorrow I'll have to go to Home Depot and pick up 1x4 for this one. And then these ones I got, I think they're called 1x2s or something. I don't know, I can't remember all these numbers, but yeah, let's start attaching the little sandwich trim. All right, guys, a little change of plans. I'm gonna actually get a little step ladder and then put the trim on the top, and I'm gonna let gravity keep it in place so I don't have to hold a 10-foot 1x2 up and have it bend all over the place. So yeah, but I got it back upright, which I'm pumped about. It was pretty heavy. All right, guys, so today we're gonna take some of these 1-inch by 8-foot long boards, planks, whatever you call them, and then we're just gonna sandwich in the screen for a couple reasons. Double integrity, and it just looks better not seeing all those staples. So we're gonna get that screwed in, and then we're gonna put a center support beam, and then last we're gonna add this weather strip stuff to the bottom half, so just like this enclosure, so the monitor doesn't rub his face against the mesh wire. Okay, I placed the support beam right here, so this long 10-foot cross beam doesn't bend down like it has been. It's going to give it support, and then when I scape it, I'm just going to screw some logs and stuff into it, so it'll also help give this enclosure a little more stability. I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's just this is I can't get it perfectly straight. This is as straight as I can go, but it'll be all right. All right, guys, I grinded it out and I finished my outdoor monitor enclosure build. This was the last step of the build. I added the little weatherproof stripping so it could be a sight barrier when my Quince Monitor's in there. He doesn't, you know, if he's on the ground, he doesn't rub his nose all over the wire mesh. We sandwiched all of the wire in between two pieces of wood, and they were previously stapled to the wood before that. We got the door all set up, locks on it. Not that he's gonna break out or anything. I just feel better having locks on there. And then I'll bring you inside and show you what we got going on. All right, so we're inside. Plenty of room for my Quince Monitor to wander around. He's got 10 foot of space to crawl around lengthwise, and then 6 foot high and 4 foot from front to back. He's got this awesome Universal Rocks background to climb on, and then the next video showcasing this enclosure will be when I scape it. And I have it here next to the first enclosure I built out here, which is also 6 foot high, and it's 4 foot by 4 foot. So I had a frilled dragon in there. I don't know what I'm gonna put in there. I'm gonna revamp this enclosure also. I'm just gonna go around and probably sandwich all the wire. You can see up here, this is why you should sandwich the wire, because the staples get all rusty, then the screens start to come out of the wood a little bit. So over here, we don't have to worry about that problem because it's all stapled and then sandwiched in the wood. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching Tommy's Reptiles.